My name is Louis Lin, and I'm here to talk about the ESTEEM Method, a 6-step methodology how you can grow and go up in the PM career ladder, starting from as an individual contributor all the way up to maybe VP of product management, perhaps even CEO of a tech company. There are 6 steps to the ESTEEM Method. Step number 1 is all about execution, and that's about getting things done. You as a product manager, getting things done is one of the most critical things that you could do. For example, shipping a product. When it comes to getting things done, one of the key things that are super important things that you need to do is to absolutely get alignment with your boss in terms of what needs to get done and to add value to the organization. The second step to the ESTEEM Method is superior communication skills. As you become a more senior member of the organization and you become considered for that kind of like frontline manager responsibility, maybe it has titles like group product manager, for instance, one of the most obvious ways to get promoted is to exhibit some superior communication skills. And you've probably seen that in your career, where some of the folks who seem to be very well spoken seem to get promoted the fastest. And that makes a lot of sense, because when people think about who they want to promote as they're getting closer and closer to the CEO suite, they're thinking about CEOs of their own companies. And CEOs of all companies are super well spoken. They know how to speak to employees, they know how to speak to customers, they know how to speak to investors on Wall Street. And so when they think about leaders that they respect, they naturally think about their communication skills, and that's one of the key things that they're looking for in that second key step as you're making your way up that PM career ladder. When it comes to ways to improve your communication skills, you can think about using communication frameworks such as the Rule of 3 or situation complication resolution. The third step, as you're moving your way up that PM career ladder, and you normally see some of the best directors of product management having this competency, is tactical awareness. And tactical awareness is a term that I borrowed from soccer, but another way to think about it is basically situational awareness. The more expert folks, whether it's in soccer or product management, have a really good understanding of the situation, and step 2, very strong judgment in terms of what to do in that situation. And that's what I mean by tactical awareness. If you've ever seen a director of product management seem to get consensus in minutes, whereas everybody else who has tried to get consensus is either incapable of doing it or they would take months or years to do it, that's that kind of tactical awareness, that kind of black magic to get things done so efficiently, because those at that level know that it's just not enough to work hard, you need to work efficiently too. The next step that you need to consider is having just extreme mental toughness. When I think of the best people, and this is starting at kind of the VP level, those who perform really well at the VP level, they're ones who are usually asked to do some sort of groundbreaking initiative and implement it. Just think about the VPs that were tasked to build out, let's say, the Amazon Prime service, and where everyone else was just freaking out, and they probably thought to themselves, you know, Mr. Jeff Bezos doing 2-day shipping is absolutely impossible. Let's not even just think about billions of dollars that we need to build up all these different warehouses, but we need to also buy airplanes and last mile infrastructure. Like, this is a crazy idea. Well, the best of the best have this incredible mental toughness where they'll take a mandate like building out 2-day shipping for Amazon Prime, and where everybody else will say, no, it's impossible, they'll actually say, you know what, Jeff, we're gonna not only give it our best try, but we're gonna get it done. And so that's what you need at that stage, at that mental toughness stage. The fifth one is after you exhibit that mental toughness, what I see is some of the better VP PM executives do is that they're exceptional team builders. And what normally happens is a CEO of an organization would hire a They're a senior member onto their PM team, and what they really want them to do is just basically replenish their PM organizations. And one of the fastest ways that a PM executive can replenish that PM talent base is to just tap into the Rolodex. And so the best of the best can quickly fill 10, 20 different open heads by tapping on some of the best PM leaders that they remember from earlier in their career. The other thing that I do see these folks do as a team builder is to have a willingness to train their product managers on the basic fundamentals of product management. I see some executives kind of say, you know what, I'm too senior now, it's not my responsibility to teach them the basics of product management, but the best of the best PM team builders will absolutely get into the trenches and train their organization, because they know, and apologies for borrowing an American football term, that the fundamentals of blocking and tackling are absolutely critical, and they don't leave it to chance. They take on that responsibility, that accountability, to teach those basics to their organization if they do not have any other leaders on their organizations who can do so. The last step of this STEAM framework is step number 6, which is Moonshot vision. When I think about the best PM leaders, and I'm thinking about the Steve Jobs, the Elon Musk, the Jeff Bezos of the world, the thing that makes them so much better than all the other PM leaders out there, and there's still a lot of good, strong PM leaders, but the reason that they're once-in-a-lifetime type PM leaders is because they have Moonshot vision. They have a vision that's so audacious, so big, that a lot of people are naturally skeptical, but if it's implemented correctly, it will absolutely change the world, just like the Mac, the iPhone, Tesla, SpaceX has changed the world as well. When it comes to Moonshot visions, there are a couple of components to it. Step number 1, it's got to be big and audacious. Step number 2, it has to fill out a very, very important need. Just because that I might have a vision that I want to turn the sky pink can be a very audacious vision, but what purpose does it have? And that's what step 2 is all about, is making sure that you have a vision that actually meets some sort of customer need. And step 3 of that Moonshot vision revolves around feasibility. That's part of the leader's job, because when you propose a Moonshot vision, you might have skeptics out there, and part of winning over the skeptics is not just to present your arguments on why there is a big, compelling customer need for it, but part of your arguments to convince those skeptics is to convince them that it is indeed feasible. For example, there's a legendary story with Elon Musk where he had this audacious vision to build space rockets that can go up to Mars. And one of the biggest challenges they had was getting space-grade rockets to send a vehicle, a ship, to somewhere as far as Mars. And there were really only 2 organizations in the world that had the technology that could send spaceships out to Mars. And it was really the American government and the Russian government. And the American government would not sell their rockets to Elon, and so they approached the Russians, and the Russians wouldn't sell it to them either. And so his entire team was completely downtrodden and dismayed when they heard the news. And it was really up to Elon on his flight back from Russia on the airplane. He literally had to teach himself how to be a rocket scientist. He opened up all of his books, his resources on Wikipedia, and broke down the fundamentals of building rockets, and classic to a business person, in an Excel spreadsheet. And when he got back in Hawthorne, California, he sat down with his team, and his team, they weren't inexperienced folks. They're very, very well-paid folks with PhDs from MIT and Caltech. And he broke down to them and said, you know what? I think we can do it. I think we can build our own rockets for our spaceships using commercial technology. And he would literally go to the whiteboard and explain to a bunch of PhDs how they would be able to do so. And so something that I see some of the better PM leaders do when they have that Moonshot vision is to get into the technical details so they can explain the feasibility and win over their skeptics.